Hello, everyone, and welcome to United Astronomy Clubs in New Jersey. We are into our winter season, as many of you all know, uh, where instead of presenting live from our location in Jenny Jump State Park at the observatory, we now are solely online through our YouTube channel. Um, I want to thank everyone for joining us. Couple things. Do check us out on our website, uacnj.org. That's where you can find out all about what programs we have offered in the past, many of our telescopes, and all about our member clubs, because UACNJ is actually a club made up of other clubs. We do try and support our local astronomy and get you connected to what astronomy clubs you have in your area. You can also check us out on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and our Discord channel that we've just started. Um, we will be posting not only to our website, but periodically we post to our Facebook interesting articles, what may be happening up in the night sky. And for any special events and whatnot, definitely, again, check out our website. So we are a completely nonprofit organization, and everything you've seen us do over these years has been supported greatly by people like you and the public, and through the generous donation of time of our volunteers. Uh, Again, we have links on our website to help us out through our Patreon, Amazon Smile, and of course PayPal donations. With that, we're going to get right into our winter program, which is What's Up in the December Sky with Lonny Buinis. He's been doing this wonderful program for several years now, uh, giving us all the what's up with what has been going on and special events that we should be looking for this month. Let's see. Oh, yes, many years. He has been presenting this program since it opened since UAC NJ opened in 1994. He's been an amateur astronomer since age 10 and still has his first telescope. He holds 2 degrees from Stevens Technology in physics and computer science, but thinks his practical experience doing space art, space animation, and virtual reality objects is more important. Lonny has written the first interactive astronomical history book, Space History Mysteries Solved, which contains 2 movies narrated by Jan Buinis, his wife. The smartest thing which he ever did was to marry her. She keeps his feet on the ground while his head is high above the clouds. Space artist, space animator, and author Lonny Buinis will now take us star hopping around the December sky. With that, welcome, Lonny.
Thank you very much, Kim. And there are many UACNJ amateur astronomers behind the scenes helping make this possible. So I'm going to thank all of them after we're done tonight. So stick around for an extra couple hours. You don't have to believe everything I say, but I'll try to make it as truthful as possible. So let's find out what's up to see, to observe in the December sky. And the birthday cake is there for a good reason. If you'd like to learn about the sky on your own, you can explore the sky from csky.org for organization, csky.org. And what you do is click on Explore the Sky, click on the icon for the sky, and check out the astronomical calendar if you want to see upcoming events. That's where I got my information, and I've rewritten it so that we can break it down into different categories. For instance, just the moon. The moon's doing a couple things every month, new and full, and those phases are significant for observing. The new moon is the best time to see faint objects. Why? Well, think about what new moon means. When our ancestors saw the moon reappearing in the evening sky, it was a thin crescent. That is a phase caused when the source of light is close to behind the object, right? But if the source of light, the sun, is behind the moon in the sky, are we going to see the moon at all? And the answer is no. The exact times that these events that we're going to be talking about today are usually listed in universal time, UT. Universal time, the time at the Greenwich Meridian, London, England. So they are, if you think about the Earth spinning, don't know if you can see my Earth, which lights up. As the Earth turns, it's going to the east. London, England is going to go into the sunrise first before us. So we are 5 hours behind them in time. So to convert from universal time to our time, it's going to be minus 5 hours. 2:40 morning, if you're interested. Now, it also happened that we had a total eclipse of the sun today, but visible only in the southern hemisphere. And so that's why I don't talk about events that we can't really see too well from where we are here in the United States. The worst time, absolute worst time to see faint objects, even in the best of skies, such as we have at the UACNJ observatories, one of the darkest sites in the state of New Jersey. Worst time, can't see anything, the full moon gets in the way. You can see bright stars, bright double stars, planets, the moon, but everything else is going to be tough. So this is not a good time to observe faint objects. Happens at 11:37 at night. The early Native Americans called it the cold moon. Guess why? Audience participation is encouraged. If you'd like to, I don't know if there's a chat or if there's a way, I believe there is a way for you to ask questions. You might want to think about this. Native Americans realized this was a time to prepare for the winter, to put those stores away, get ready for the cold times. Every month, the moon has some poetic names. There are others also, alternate names. The long night's moon, wonder why they called it that. And the moon before Yule, all right, so it all makes sense. Cold moon, long night's moon, the moon before Yule. Come back every month. We'll be doing this presentation every month for What's Up in the Sky, and we'll tell you what the other moon names for each month will be. We also have 2 meteor showers in December. A minor shower, the Ursids. The meteor showers are named for the place they seem to come out of in the sky. This one is Ursa Minor. Ursa Minor. Let you think about that one. It's a very popular asterism or star picture, also a constellation, Ursa Minor. If you miss the peak of a meteor shower, this one is December 21st, you usually have a window of opportunity because we pass through the debris trail of a comet. This one is dust grains from Comet Tuttle, discovered centuries ago. Unfortunately, there's only about 5 to 10 meteors per hour at the peak, December 21st into the 22nd, the morning. So you might not see anything from where we live. If you're not in the very dark skies, and dark skies really help. Where I live, there's a lot of street lights, probably won't see anything. And of course, I mentioned the full moon is going to interfere, just past full. So this is not an advantageous meteor shower to watch. And that's why I didn't light it up in white like I did the next meteor shower. This one comes from Ursa Minor, which is the Small Bear or Little Dipper. Meteor shower of the year, yes, folks, better even than the Perseids in August, which I talked about before. In guess what? What's up in the August sky? This one is every year as we go through the dust trail, December 13th and 14th, the peak of the Geminids from the constellation Gemini. That's the point at which meteors seem to stream out in all directions. Now, if we're going through a track of debris, this one up to 120 per hour, And they say multicolored, that's unusual. Usually the human eye doesn't see color at low light levels very well. Everything looks kind of greenish. But this one, the super bright meteors sometimes can have other colors. Unfortunately, the moon's going to get in the way, but you still might see a few, so it's worth trying. This meteor shower was caused by debris from asteroid 3200 Phaeton. This is a big asteroid, about 3.6 miles in diameter. This is a radar image showing a little bit of its rotation. And not to fear, even though its mean orbit intersection distance, MOID, I like to call it MOID. The MOID seems close, 0.2 AU, but an AU is almost 100 million miles, the distance from Earth to Sun, 93 to be more precise. 0.2 AU is a lot. It's a lot of miles. 2.9 divided by 1.6, quick, convert kilometers to miles. Mathematicians in the audience, a couple of million miles. So even though this is a near Earth asteroid, it's not a hazardous asteroid. It will not impact us. So what you want to do, if you don't go out the 13th to see the peak of the shower, try any time in mid-December. Best time, later is better. Midnight, best, but if you can't stay up that late, try it earlier. We have a very important date on the 21st. This is the second most important date in December each year, second most. 21st is not only my mother's birthday, but the solstice, when we have the beginning of winter, the official beginning of winter. The sun in the sky crosses the apparent equator. If we drew the Earth's equator out into space as a straight line, it would go through the belt of Orion, the Hunter, winter constellation. It would cross at an angle with the path of the sun, and that's because the Earth is tilted as it goes around the sun. All right, its equator is tilted by about 23.44 degrees, about, roughly speaking. So if you want to convert the exact time the solstice happens, how do we do it from universal time? Remember, London is ahead of us. So 1550 minus 5. Right, 10:50 in the morning. I see you all out there scribbling furiously with pencil and paper. Some of us remember what that is. Personally, I remember because, as my wife says and reminds me, I'm old, but some of you might be scribbling notes on your iPads and phablets. Anybody know what a phablet is? Think about it. There are planets to see. We're going to take a look in the sky. We'll simulate the sky in a few moments. From west to south, facing south, that'll be on your right. Sun setting in the west on the right. You'll see bright planet Venus. I left that out. Just saw it last night myself. Venus sets early, followed by Jupiter. Both are very bright. Between them, fainter Saturn. Then after Jupiter, going left and south, Neptune and Uranus. We can find all these planets by simulating the sky, which we will do after this little bit of history lesson. We're celebrating from 1970, that's 51 years ago, the launch of an X-ray satellite that was responsible for identifying the first discovered black hole, Cygnus X1. We now recognize many black hole sources in our galaxy, including a supermassive one at the center of our galaxy, just as there are supermassive black holes at the center of every galaxy, many millions of times the mass of our sun. But most important date of all, it's my birthday, December 26th. Yep, eclipses, solar eclipses, December 21st solstice, relatively unimportant. And that's why you saw the birthday cake at the start of this presentation. So, quick recap. There'll be a test later. Hope you're taking notes. December 4th and 19th, best and worst times to look at faint objects in the sky because of the moon's phases. The meteor showers, I would definitely try to check the Geminids, December 13th into the 14th. If you stay up late, it's better, but if you can't, try it anyway. Nice multicolored meteors. December solstice, the beginning of winter officially, People long ago noticed that the sun was coming back a little bit earlier by December 25th. And so the pagans celebrated the return of the sun, the 25th. And the early Christians combined their holiday with that one. But to look at the sky the way it should appear, if we were looking at the actual sky with our eyes, I'm going to simulate it using a free program called Stellarium. Stellarium.org, if you want to download it for many different operating systems, all different, or if you just want to run it without installing anything, you can go and use the supercomputers on the website stellarium-web.org. There is also a mobile app that is free, Stellarium. So let's do that right now. And simulate the night sky looking north. How do we know it's north? Because we are, to use the scientific term, the term used by we amateurs at UACNJ, we are cheating. We are cheating. You can look for the letter N. You're going to see it in the real sky? Nope. Are you going to be able to identify constellations in the real sky? Do you recognize this cup and some of the handle stars of a famous group known as the Big Dipper, part of Ursa Major, the Great Bear? Still don't see a bear? All right, if you see this when you go outside to the real sky, you might be a little bit worried. All right, so you're not going to see pictures, you're not going to see lines. Makes it a lot more difficult. But if you were to look at a star map, like the kind that we sell at the gift shop in UACNJ, shameless advertisement, you will find that we sell planispheres, very inexpensive circular star charts that have lines like these to help you identify constellations, which number the same as the number of keys on a piano for you piano players in the audience. I'll let you think about that. So we've got the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper, Ursa Minor, the small bear. Now these constellations are fairly big in the sky in angle. We measure things in angle in the sky. So in Stellarium or on a piece of paper, on a star chart, things are distorted, they're very much shrunk, and toward the edges you're going to get distortion. It's unavoidable when you map a three-dimensional object like the night sky onto something flat. So you will see me zooming in and out of Stellarium. If anybody gets dizzy, please let Kim know and I'll slow down. To find your way around the sky, it's good to learn the stars of the northern sky first. Big and Little Dipper, the dragon between them, the king and queen, Cassiopeia, Cepheus. Cassiopeia to me looks like a letter M or W, depending on the time of the year, when you see it rotating around the North Star, which we can always find, Polaris, by finding the pointer stars Merak and Dubhe in the Big Dipper. Oh, I just happened to accidentally hit a Starlink satellite. Everybody hear about Elon Musk's satellites? Yep, there it is. They're moving pretty quickly. They're putting up a lot of satellites to give us broadband internet from low Earth orbit, but astronomers objected when they realized that these would interfere with delicate observations. So the satellites are all going to be painted black. Will that help? A little bit. Merak and Dubhe point about 5 times their distance apart to where we have our North Pole, the Earth's North Pole, pointing. The Earth spins like a top, which means it has an imaginary line going through the poles, an axis. The Earth's north axis points there. The Earth's south axis points to the South Star, correct? This is a test. See if anybody's paying attention. Is there a South Star? I'm looking askance. This is called looking askance. No, there's no South Star. There's a Southern Cross that points to where the South Pole is, but the people living in the Southern Hemisphere don't have a South Star. We have North Star. In your face, people, no, that wouldn't be polite. We have a North Star. Let's count our blessings. That's our North Star now. This was our North Star a few thousand years ago when the Egyptians built the pyramids. And this is our North Star in about 10,000 AD, Vega. Why? Because the Earth is wobbling. Can you feel it? The Earth wobbles. It's being pulled on by Jupiter and the Sun and the Moon, right? It's precessing like a top. If you watch a spinning top run out of energy, it tends to wobble. The axis makes an arc, a circle, right? And the Earth does the same thing, makes a big circle, and so it comes back. Eventually, the pole star will be here again in 24,772 years, about 25,000 years. If any of you ever visit Switzerland, look for the clock that has precession. It's a big gear, moves really slowly. So if you know the northern constellations, you've had some practice, you can look over in the west for the stars of early fall disappearing. We're heading into winter. In the west, you will see bright planet Jupiter. I'm looking at the sky now at 8:21 p.m. If you were to go back in time earlier, let's go backwards. Can we time travel in Stellarium? Yes, we can. Look at this. Going back, I'm speeding up time backwards. I would see, as my wife and I did recently, we were out walking earlier. This is about, what's 18 minus 12? 6 p.m. I made the sky dark, well, unusually dark. Usually it's lighter than this. You would see the bright planet Venus, Saturn between Venus and Jupiter. But at 8 o'clock, which is 20 hours, and we've got, what, 21 minutes? So you can actually set the time to whatever you want in Stellarium. Here it's almost 9 o'clock. Saturn is very low in setting. Jupiter is the bright planet that's up. And we have this red line in the sky to mark the path of the sun. Do you see that in the real sky? Some of you are nodding yes. You don't have to believe everything you see in Stellarium or everything I tell you. The path of the Earth around the sun, the ecliptic, is not visible in the real sky. I drew it out here to make it clear that there are some constellations through which the sun passes, and the moon and the planets, because the solar system, except for Mercury and Pluto and comets and dwarf planets, come to think of it, a lot of objects, is pretty much flat. The major planets are all pretty much in a plane, and so you'll find them close to the ecliptic. The moon goes above and below because it's tilted to the Earth's equator by about 5 degrees. These constellations that mark out the path of the sun, what are they called? Any astrologers in the audience? Yeah, the ecliptic crosses through the signs of the zodiac. And this one looks like, I won't say what it looks like. I don't know what it looks like. What do you think it looks like? A couple of triangles? It's the sea goat. We've all seen these, right? A little bit too much to drink down at the shore. That's my sign. The sun was supposed to be there when I was born, Capricornus, the sea goat. The sun was not there when I was born because precession has knocked everything out by a whole sign in the 3,000 years or so that since astrology got started. Well, more like 5. So astrology is off by a whole sign. Then we have this group here. Who are these? Who is that? The water carrier, Aquarius. Jupiter is said to be in Aquarius. I'm using air quotes. Don't know if you can see my fingers. What does that mean when a planet is in amongst the stars of a constellation? Is it really close to the stars? Nope. You're right. Stars are much further away. It takes years for light to reach us from the stars. It takes light to reach us from Jupiter. When Jupiter is closest, let's figure it out. Jupiter is about 5 astronomical units away from the sun. Earth is 1, right? That's our standard unit. When Earth and Jupiter are on the same side of the sun, the distance between them is 5 minus 1 equals 7 is incorrect. 2 is incorrect. Anyone? Anyone? 4 astronomical units. Takes light about 8 1/3 minutes for each astronomical unit. 4 times 8 is 32. Jupiter is more than half an hour away by light. the stars behind it that it's in? Hundreds of years, thousands of years. Aquarius. If we work our way further to the south, we see some constellations that are hard to find. Why? Because they're small? No, although they are small. They are obscure, but that's not the reason. I don't even know what that is. Sculptor. Pisces austrinus, southern fish. Phoenix. Can we see these where we live in New Jersey? Well, the answer is trees, houses. You can't see the horizon usually. Unless you live by the shore, you might have a nice eastern view, right? Across the ocean. So let's go a little bit further up. What do we have here? We have the sea monster who tried to eat Andromeda after her mother, Cassiopeia, the queen, remember her, boasted that her daughter Andromeda was more beautiful than Hera, the queen of the gods. Now, that was a big mistake, because if you know your Greek mythology, Hera was just about the most jealous Greek goddess there ever was. And so she had Andromeda chained to the rocks to be eaten by Cetus, eventually rescued by Perseus. All these characters are in the sky. And in the fall, what you want to look for before it disappears is this huge, big, great square in the sky, so big that you have to move your head from side to side to see all of Pegasus and Andromeda. Pegasus and Andromeda. The princess, the flying horse. And if you can find Pegasus and Andromeda, you can see something visible that is described in the Guinness Book of World Records as the most distant thing in the universe that you can see with this piece of scientific equipment. I'm getting close to my camera. I don't know if you can see what I'm talking about. It has a technical term. It's called, no, it's not called glaucoma. It's not called nearsightedness. It's called the naked eye. Yep, we amateur astronomers use the naked eye to find something that light left it 2.5 million years ago. It's this fuzzy blob. I like to call it the fuzzy blob near one of the stars of Andromeda. To find it, look at the top of the square. Go left from this star, Alpha Andromedae, brightest star in Andromeda. 2 stars over, 2 fainter stars up to a little Y-shaped group of stars. In binoculars, it becomes more obvious that it's a fuzzy oval. And in large telescopes, we see what our own Milky Way galaxy would look like from outside. This is the Andromeda galaxy, a collection of stars bigger than our own. Our own has about 1,000 billion stars in it. That's 1 trillion. That's 1 followed by 12 zeros. That's 1 million million. How many ways can I say a trillion stars? Andromeda is a bit bigger. We are headed to merge with this galaxy. Yep, we are going to merge. Now, you'll hear people say collide with the Andromeda galaxy. It's more like a slow dance where the 2 galaxies merge together. The stars, most of them will miss each other because stars are spread out in galaxies. And the 2 black holes, massive black holes at the center of each galaxy, will merge and create gravity waves that we can measure from a great distance off. Well, not we. Other people in other galaxies will measure that collision. Not 3 billion years from now, as I've been telling everybody for years. There's a new estimate from scientists who run the Space Telescope Science Institute and the Gaia satellite. STSI runs the Hubble Space Telescope, and they have been doing research also with Gaia, beginning very accurate measurements of stars in Andromeda and the Milky Way. And now the estimate, everybody, you can breathe easier. It's not 3 billion years from now. It's not 3.5, which was the more correct figure. The new estimate is 4.5 billion years. Whew, it's a load off my mind. I don't know about you, but I'm going to sleep easier tonight. Yep, so we're going to have a slow dance to merge. If you go on YouTube and search Galaxy Collision, Andromeda, Milky Way, you can see supercomputer simulations of this slow dance, sped up so we can see it in a few seconds. Look for this in a pair of binoculars, a small telescope, or the naked eye from a dark site like UACNJ observatories. Now, if you're looking a little bit further over left of Andromeda, you'll find Perseus. Remember him from Clash of the Titans? Or if you didn't see the movies, you could read the book, The Story of Perseus and Andromeda. He ended up cutting off the head of the Gorgon, Medusa. Pretty horrible. The classic movie Clash of the Titans from the 1960s does a very nice job of this without computers. They did not have computer animation back then. The eye of Medusa, the eye of the Gorgon, actually blinks at us because there are two stars that eclipse each other as they revolve around one another over a period of several days. Algol is a famous eclipsing binary star. 90 light years away, we see it as it was 90 years ago. Is that a long time? No, not in the lifetime of stars. So that's Perseus, the hero. And that is where the Perseid meteors seem to stream from his head every August. Every What's Up in the August Sky, I talk about the Perseids, but you might, if you missed that, try not to miss the Geminids, big, bright meteor shower. We can conclude this portion. Well, you know what? I forgot to show you where a couple of the other planets are. There's the planet Uranus, identified along the ecliptic. Looks like a faint star, doesn't it? In order to see the disk of Uranus at all, you've got to really zoom in. You need a telescope. You can't see it with your naked eye. Can't see it with binoculars. You can see it as a star. But it only appears, even in the world's biggest telescopes, as a small, fuzzy greenish disk. It's a gas giant like Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune, similar in size to Neptune. It has rings, just like Saturn and Jupiter and Neptune. All the giants have rings, but the rings of Uranus are very faint. Cannot see them generally with optical telescopes. And Uranus has a lot of moons. Those are some of the brightest. And planet Neptune is not far nearby. I can cheat and find stuff by using a search for Neptune. That was a recent search. There it is. Again, a fuzzy blue disk. Bright moon, big moon Triton goes around Neptune backwards, might be a captured planetoid, similar in size to Pluto, which is a dwarf planet. Maybe Triton was a dwarf planet at one time. That's Neptune, and it has rings as well, just like Saturn and Jupiter. Saturns are the brightest. Might have been a destroyed moon. And so there we have most of the most interesting parts of the late fall, early winter sky. If we look over towards the letter E for east, you going to see that in the real sky? Nope. Are you going to see the ecliptic? Let's challenge you. You're not going to see the ecliptic in the real sky. I'm going to turn it off. It's a lot of markings you can put up to help yourself find your way around. Most of you may recognize this famous constellation. It's one of the few that looks like what it's supposed to be. It has a bright knee star, Rigel, Beta Orionis, blue in color, a reddish star, Betelgeuse, or Betelgeuse, or Betelgeuse, or Betelgeuse, has many pronunciations. I like Betelgeuse, easy to remember. And I hope all of you are not tempted to step on a beetle. Beetles are marvelous constructions when you consider that it's taken us decades to get computer robotics the size of insects. Drones as small as insects are coming, right? It's very difficult to get them to fly well. Beetles have been doing this for hundreds of millions of years. Marvel of construction. So please don't step on a beetle and get Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse is not the shoulder of Orion. They were just being polite when I was a kid. The name Betelgeuse translated actually is the armpit of the giant, Orion the hunter. You can use Orion to find your way around the sky. You can use him to point along his belt to a group, a star cluster, an old star cluster called the Hyades. Its brightest star, Aldebaran, is the Eye of Taurus, sign of the zodiac. What is Taurus? Taurus, V shapes for the horns, the face, the bull. Taurus is an incomplete constellation. In his shoulder, whoops, in his shoulder is another star group. Some people mistake this to be the Little Dipper. It's very much smaller, but even with the naked eye, you can count at least 6 stars. Those of you who are more keen of vision than I, 7 or 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Usually what I see. This is a star cluster younger, further away, 300 to 400 light years away. This is a really cool star, Pleione. It's egg-shaped because it spins so fast, it's pulling itself out of shape, like the planet Saturn. Saturn spins so quickly, about 9 hours compared to theirs 24. It has an egg shape that you can see in a telescope easily. This is a beautiful young star cluster. The gas and dust from which it was made, from which it was born, is still visible, lit up by the light, the bluish light of these youngish stars. They're burning their nuclear fuel very quickly. They'll be done in a few million years. The sun, not to panic. We have another 5,000 million, that's 5 billion years. And red dwarf stars can last for trillions of years. A lot of them even have Earth-like planets, maybe with life. Now, where are some other hot young stars being born? Well, look below Orion's belt for his sword, and even in a pair of binoculars, you can see a fuzzy cloud, a nebula. The astronomical word for cloud, nebula. This is the famous Orion Nebula. And small telescopes, beautiful, glowing red from the light of hydrogen gas, most abundant material in the universe, glowing blue on some of the gas from the hot blue stars at its core, the trapezium, 4 bright bluish stars. And you can see this even in a small telescope. There are other deep sky objects like nebulas and star clusters in the sky. Come to UACNJ, ask the amateur astronomers to show you through their telescopes. You can, when things clear up, we may be able to look through telescopes again for hygienic purposes. We generally don't do that. What we have been doing when you come to visit the observatory between April and October, when it's not too cold, we project images on the side of one of the observatories so everybody can see things at once. But when you come to visit, please remember to be courteous of the amateur astronomers. Do not kick their tripods and mounts because they've taken a lot of trouble to align things and you'll just make them cry. You don't want to see an astronomer cry. It's not a pretty sight. Fun constellation coming up in winter. This one's a minor constellation. Lepus is leaping. Think about what that might be. I'll give you a few seconds. Eridanus, the river. These are hard to see because they're low in the sky. If I zoom out, you will see the sky in Stellarium as you might see it on a planisphere, a circular star chart that you can move to set any time of day or night, any time of the year. And we sell those at UACNJ. Yeah, that was a shameless advertisement. I won't do too many more of those. That's Stellarium. You can explore it on your own. You can explore the sky anytime. And you can even make it more challenging by turning off all of the helpers and just see a realistic sky like this. Let's conclude by giving you some references. If you want to learn about space history or science, or space flight, or technology, or the search for life. All kinds of hints, tips for sky watching. It's easy to remember, space.com. There are a lot of advertisements when you're on your mobile phone, but do what I do, just scroll past. Skyandtelescope.com is the website for a famous astronomical magazine. Yes, they still make magazines. Anybody know what a magazine is? Raise your hand. I can't see you, so it doesn't matter. You don't have to be embarrassed. Yeah, print. Print still exists. You can go online. You can pay for a subscription. A lot of the content is free. Another program where you can explore the heavens and go to other planets is Celestia. Celestia.space. There's a mobile app that's free. You can go online. You can also use their supercomputers without downloading anything. But I've downloaded and installed Celestia, and I want to show you what the eclipse. Anybody see the recent eclipse of the moon by the Earth's shadow? November 19th, 4 in the morning. Yeah, I know a lot of you didn't get up. I did. Got up at about 20 to 4, watched it, and then the clouds rolled in at 4:05, just around the time of maximum eclipse, and that was that, and I went back to sleep. But if you were to travel to the moon, as you can do in Celestia, and speed up time, I've got normal time rate 10 times normal speed, 100 times normal speed, 1,000 times normal speed. You could watch the Earth eclipse the sun. The Earth in the sky would look 4 times bigger than the moon as seen from Earth. And you would, let's freeze it right there, you would see light coming around the edge of the Earth, reddish in color. Why? The Earth has what the moon doesn't, a thick atmosphere. And that atmosphere acts like a lens. It bends light around to fall on the moon and turn the moon in color, sometimes red. The moon had a reddish tint this past November 19th. During full eclipses of the moon, total lunar eclipse, the moon can turn a bright red or a deep red. It changes. It's beautiful. Something not to be missed. Much more easy to find than a total eclipse of the sun. Those are a bit more rare, happening in any one place on the Earth. The next one, crossing through the United States, goes from Texas to Maine, and that's in the year 2024. So do be prepared to look for a total eclipse of the sun. This is a total eclipse of the sun from the moon by planet Earth. So you can do all kinds of neat things in Celestia. You can even travel to other planets. There's a nice solar system browser that lets you do this quickly. I'm going to go to Saturn. Which it won't let me do because I'm tracking the Earth. Oh, and the field of view, whoops. Well, that's Earth. Let's see what Saturn looks like up close. There you go. A little bit too close. You can see planets as you would never see them from the Earth in Celestia. Why? Because you can look at the backside. You don't see Saturn like this from the Earth. You can speed up time. You can watch its moons rotate around very quickly. All sorts of neat things. I heartily recommend it. It's free. I like free stuff. In the news, before we wrap things up for questions and a recap, did you know that there's a mission going to impact not an asteroid, but an asteroid's moon? The asteroid Didymos has a moon. Many asteroids are double or multiple bodies, weakly held together by gravity themselves. They've attracted other objects over the eons. Dimorphos is going to be impacted by the DART spacecraft, the Double Asteroid Redirection Test. This is very exciting. No one's ever done anything like this before. This probe was launched on November 23rd. It's going to arrive September or October of next year. And it's going to collide with Didymos because the planets of the mission realized they couldn't alter the orbit of a massive object like Didymos with a small spacecraft, but they could alter the orbit of its moon as a test to see what would happen to prevent asteroids from crashing into the Earth. In the immortal words of Emily Lakdawala, planetary geologist, this isn't an asteroid science mission. It's the first ever planetary defense mission. What happens if a near-Earth object, NEO, you can check that out, the NEO website from NASA, to see the hazardous objects. We've tracked thousands of them. Well, we want to make sure that none of those smack into the Earth and create a disaster. And so this is the first ever test to see if we can deflect an asteroid with sufficient time. It's a DART mission. Stay tuned. Now, all of you have been dreading this. A review. Yippee! You ready? I'm going to go back to Stellarium, and I'm going to start in the north again because that's the best way to learn the sky. We're looking at the sky now at, well, let's set it to the actual time, shall we? It's right now 8:46. Why does it say 2046? That's military time. 12 hours plus 8 equals 20. And that's what the sky looks like right now if you go outside. You won't see the same landscape or trees, but you will see these stars. And I'm going to cheat again by using the lines for the Big Dipper, which is not a constellation. It's a piece of the Great Bear. The Little Dipper is a constellation, the Small Bear. The Dragon Draco, Cassiopeia and Cepheus, Queen and King. Circumpolar stars that never rise or set, they just spin around the North Star. They're visible all night long. They're even up in the daytime, but you won't see them. Why? Because of the sun. We'll see stars of the summer disappearing. The summer triangle, some of the stars of the summer triangle are still up. Vega in the Lyre, and Deneb, the tail of the swan. During the Christmas season, the swan lies on the northern horizon, and so sometimes it's been called the Christmas cross. The great square of Pegasus setting towards the western sky. The fishes, where in 7 BC, 3 planets met. The astronomer David Hughes has a book, The Star of Bethlehem, and claims that that is the Star of Bethlehem. The triple conjunction of the 2 planets, Saturn and Jupiter, met here 3 times in the years 6 and 7 BC, concluding with a triple grouping, extraordinary, Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter in 7 BC the next year. But David Hughes believes Christ was born 6 BC because the grouping of two planets that marked leaders in a constellation that marked ruling, Pisces, the fishes, marked the appearance of a great leader. You can simulate that in Stellarium. I challenge you to try it. Nearby little constellation, Aries the ram. Looks just like a ram, right? Right? I didn't show you this the last time. If you don't see a ram, don't worry. I'm just kidding. And this triangular shaped group of stars, guess what they call it? Just take a guess. There's a galaxy nearby in Triangulum, the triangle. This is one of our neighbors. It will be watching when the Milky Way and Andromeda collide, merge in 4.5 billion years. The whole process will take about 1 billion years. Nice slow dance. Perseus, the hero, Andromeda, the princess. Whoa, sorry. Very high in the sky. I really should face south when I do this. Facing south, I look for the letter S. How do I do this when I don't have a letter S? I find Polaris, the North Star. I turn my body around and face opposite. And I look straight up, high in the sky, 8, 9 o'clock at night, the Great Square, the Andromeda Galaxy, farthest thing we can see with our naked eyes. Perseus, Andromeda, the Bull, the Little Dipper-shaped Seven Sisters, the Pleiades star cluster. Wonderful things to see. In what's up in, you guessed it, the next month, January sky, I'll be talking about the bright stars of winter, starting with Orion the Hunter, and the second brightest star in the sky, which will be rising shortly. Let's watch it rise. Sirius, the dog star. In another constellation, you guessed it, Canis Major. And that is a preview of things to come in what's up in January. So, recap, events, moons, December 4 and 19. Beginning of the month, middle of the month, best time to see stuff, worst time to see faint stuff, full moon. Don't miss the Geminis, December 13. Around the middle of the month, if you miss it, don't worry, that's the peak, but there will be meteors before and after. And the beginning of winter is the 21st. That'll be the longest nights. And my birthday, I'll be 286 and a half years old on the planet Mercury, which has a year lasting 88 days long, not 365. So I challenge you to compute my actual age. Some references, you're writing everything down, good, good. I see pencils, paper, pens, iPads, fingers flying furiously, phablets. Phablets, what's a phablet? A phone tablet. UACNJ is the most important. Repeat after me. UACNJ. Yep, say it loud and proud. UACNJ.org. United Astronomy Clubs of New Jersey, umbrella organization of many clubs in New Jersey, astronomy. Also, some from Pennsylvania and New York. We do have friends and neighbors. This is a great resource. Tells you about upcoming events, our own, others, right? Stuff to see. Come visit April through October when we're open to the public. And we do talks every Saturday. You know, it's not just what's up in the sky. There's talks about black holes in Antarctica, viewing from Antarctica, all sorts of topics, gravity wave observatories. Magazines, yep, they still make Astronomy and Sky and Telescope. It's for people like you and me, right? Amateurs, lay people, don't know much about astronomy, learning a lot. There's a lot to learn. It's a lot of fun. It's mind expanding. They still have them in print. You can subscribe for lots of information. A lot of it is free. You don't even have to subscribe. And the free apps, Stellarium and Celestia, are great. There are, at the last count, I found dozens of other astronomy apps that let you hold your phablet or phone up to a part of the sky, and using the built-in location system, it can actually tell you what you're looking at and what it is, identify it. It's wonderful. Try it out. Skyview is one. Stellarium, Celestia, there's so many. Can't remember them all. When you come to visit, we do put up some reminders about how to conduct yourself in person. So you will see this. You'll see this slide when you come to visit. I hope you will. April through October in person. But we are going to be doing What's Up in the Sky every month. And from now through March, we'll be doing them virtually, just like now. So if you want to reach me, I'm at my name, Lonny Buinis, at Gmail. I belong to the International Association of Astronomical Artists, and if you go to their website, you will see a link to mine, Astronomy in Motion, where you can play with virtual reality planets for free. The moon, Mercury, Mars, a lot of fun. I go into it in much more detail in my book, Space History Mystery Solved, the first book to use interactive virtual reality. So you can use your fingers, a joystick, or a mouse on a phone, a phablet, a tablet, a computer, a laptop, desktop, anything to play with planets in 3D. Zoom in, zoom out, check it out. So with that, I'm going to say you've been a very good audience, very patient. It's been a long session. I'm going to turn things over to Kim, and I want to thank Chris and Jeff and all of the UACNJ amateur astronomers for making this possible. for doing that all for free, volunteer. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, and come on back again, and I'll pause for questions.
All right. Thank you, Lonnie, so much. All right. So now we're going to do our Q&A session. I want to thank you, Lonnie, for such a great program. Let's get right into the questions. So our first question was, what is the probability of being able to just click anywhere in Stellarium on the screen and getting a Starlink satellite? I'm assuming because, as everyone knows,
Whoa!
there's a
I,
lot of Starlink
I
satellites
just
now.
did it, Kim. I just did it at random and I found one. There are thousands, like they're going to be about 40,000, I think, by the time they're done. Something like that, maybe more. Yeah, they move very quickly. As you can see, they take, what, about 90 minutes or so to travel all the way around the Earth. So they're moving very fast.
Yeah, so apparently the odds are pretty good that if you click randomly, you might find one. Um, I believe there's also a website that also tracks all the random satellites and other large space debris around the Earth. And I believe that also contributes to why there are launch period windows, why they can't just send up like a rocket, whether it be like the Falcon 9 or when we used to do the shuttle, where they would have those windows of, oh yeah, it's clear you're not going to hit anything if you're wandering up there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of why it's important to think about why some of the safety measures are in place that we have.
Yeah, I don't know if some members of our audience may not realize the Earth has a ring, also like Saturn's, a ring of garbage and active satellites. But a lot of things that have become defunct don't work anymore. And actually, the Russians just destroyed one of their satellites and created more debris. So the International Space Station has to watch out for that. Our satellites, and as Kim mentioned, when we launch stuff, we have to be careful too.
All right. So the next topic, one of our viewers is going to be in Georgia on the 13th through the 14th, and they were wondering if they would be able to see the Gemini meteor shower with the naked eye. And I believe the answer is the best way to view a meteor shower is actually with the naked eye.
Right, right. That's exactly right, Kim, because you want a wide angle. The meteors spread out from Gemini all over the sky, all directions. So what you need, the most sophisticated piece of equipment you might need is a lawn chair.
Mm. That actually sounds like a good night to me. Lay
And
back,
blankets.
nice preferred beverage of choice, and watch the
Yeah,
sky.
I have to say, one of our members was ingenious, and he made his own telescope and his mount, and it has a beer cooler built in.
uh that I'm not sure I know which one of our members is that, but I
I'll
have
identify him later.
I, I believe I have a couple ideas of people who would do that. But then again, we all have the friend who would do that, let's be honest. So, our next question is, what planet actually has the most moons?
That's a great question. When I was growing up, I had memorized the names of all 31 discovered moons. But since then, with space probes, powerful telescopes, mostly the space probes passing by each one of the major planets, we've got dozens and dozens. The last count I heard, Saturn is in the 60s somewhere, Jupiter not far behind. So I'll look it up in Wikipedia. They actually label all of them, every single one. The ones that you can see in a telescope, Jupiter's got about a dozen that are more easily seen. Saturn, there are about nine or so that you can see in a small telescope. But the ones that they've discovered, dozens. I've lost count long ago, and there's no point in trying to keep track. But go on Wikipedia and look up Saturn moons.
Uh,
Homework.
According to when I actually Googled this just now, according to NASA, let's see, Jupiter has 79 moons, Saturn has 82,
Hmm.
Uranus has 27, and Neptune has 14. And this chart was updated on May 19th of
Yeah,
this
it's
year.
they're
So
going to yeah,
it,
they'll be discovering them continually. Pluto's a multiple object with five.
it says on both Jupiter and Saturn, 53 are confirmed. So the rest of those in the numbers are actually, they're waiting on, hey, we discovered it and we want to make sure that this does actually qualify for being labeled as a moon. Because
And
as our technology has progressed and whatnot, we have actually, as a community, uh, narrowed down the definitions of what qualifies as what.
Jupiter's gravity is so powerful that it attracts Trojan asteroids that are ahead and behind in the orbit of Jupiter from Jupiter, about 60 degrees. And there's tens of thousands of those. Jupiter influences comets. A comet has struck, it's more than one, has struck Jupiter, collided and broken up and collided with Jupiter. So there's a lot going on because of gravity.
I believe most things happen the way they do in some part because of gravity. So even the fact that things grow upward happens because there's gravity. Um, there are a couple people online who want to wish you a very happy early birthday.
Oh, thank you
So,
very much.
and wanted to thank you for continuing to have these programs.
We've been
I,
doing
I,
this,
I,
we've been
I
doing these 20, well, I've been doing this 26 years and hope to doing them a lot more.
Oh, I see your wife actually has a wonderful question. She said, "Isn't there some kind of eclipse happening this weekend?"
An eclipse this week. Well, yes, yeah, actually earlier today, we had a total eclipse of the sun where the moon blotted out the sunlight completely, but that was visible only from the southern hemisphere. So you can go, if you go on and Google it, that's a verb now, Google, search for it. You can actually watch it on YouTube. You can watch it in Google. They've got time lapse of it. I actually saw a little bit.
Oh, you went down to the southern hemisphere today?
Well, virtually. Yeah.
Uh, hey, it's getting into winter here in New Jersey, so I wouldn't blame you if you headed south for the winter. Many people do.
Mhm.
So, were there any more questions online? Hold on, I just want to type that into chat here. And while I'm just waiting a couple minutes because there is a stream delay for people to ask questions, is there anything you were looking forward to doing on your birthday, or is for astronomy wise, or anything like that?
Well, I hadn't thought about it much. I don't know. Well, I think my wife is going to surprise me. She has a surprise gift, and if I can just relax and enjoy the day, I don't care what we do.
Yeah, it's kind of been that way lately, where it's just like
You
just
know,
want to.
we all like to get out of the house, what with pandemics going on. But if we can do that, take a walk, then I'll count my blessings. If I can see a nice clear sky that night, then maybe I'll get out early and look for Capricornus, the sea goat. Isaac Asimov a famous author, science fiction, and science writer. He shared the same birthday month as I, and he was once challenged to a debate with astrologers. So he was all set to go, and then he looked up his sign, and when he found out it was the old goat, he absolutely unsubstantiatedly refused to participate in the debate. You didn't want to be made fun of. But I'm proud to say I'm the old goat in the sky.
Yeah, I was actually born in February, so my son's actually Aquarius. So
Ah, yeah,
it,
that's
it it's fun to, even though, there are certain topics which are taboo in the astronomical circles of socialization. Um, it's occasionally fun to look up and do all that stuff, just because why not?
mhm.
Let's see. Oh, there is one more question. If you could go visit one space object, such as a planet, moon, or nebula, which one would you visit? So I'm assuming any object up in space or
I am
grouping of
so
objects.
glad. I'm so glad you asked that because I was focusing on Jupiter because I wanted to mention that the smallest of the four giant moons of Jupiter, which are nearly the size of planets, the smallest one is the brightest. And that I would love to visit to find out if life exists under the frozen icy surface of Europa. Europa, we now know, is warm inside. And there's a thick ocean of water. There's organic materials. The brownish color of the cracks in Europa are like the brownish color of Jupiter's clouds, organic compounds. And so NASA is going to be sending a Europa Clipper mission sometime a few years from now to drop a probe down and see if there are any microbes that have percolated to the surface. However, if Europa is has similar geology to our mid-ocean plates, there may be hydrothermal vents deep down in the oceans of Europa where more advanced life could live. So Europa may be the only other place in the solar system that has not just life like microbes, which we might expect to find on Mars, but it may have advanced life like tube worms that we find on Earth. We have blind shrimp and blind crabs that live in the bottom of the ocean. We don't know what's evolved in Europa. If I could go anywhere to find out, I would go underneath the ice of Europa to the bottom of the ocean. If I could. Obviously, I can't, but I'm hoping that within my lifetime, you and I, all of us, will learn if life evolved independently of Earth on one of Jupiter's big moons, which you can see in the telescopes at Jenny Jump. Look at that. All four are visible right now in a telescope. So everybody run outside with binoculars. You actually see them in binoculars too, or
Yeah,
a small telescope.
it is very neat that you can actually see a lot of the detail through our scopes. Now, at our observatories, um, we actually have, very large telescopes and whatnot. They're actually pier mounted, many of them, so to provide that extra stabilization and kind of keep them in the specific alignment so you can pan across the sky appropriately. Um, but you can actually get some of these larger scopes in a format where you would have them on a tripod or a Dobsonian mount. I believe, yeah, the Dobsonian is kind of the artillery style one where it's like you point it at something and that's where it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the person who asked that, their screen name's Monkey Man, is like, yes, I knew I liked him. Europa.
That was a good. We've had some good questions there.
But it looks like for tonight, our questions have run dry. So I want to thank everyone for coming out. Uh, and by coming out, joining us online. So used to being in person on site, uh, sometimes my script gets muddled. And again, check us out. Do go visit our website, uacnj.org. That is where you will see a list of all our upcoming presentations for not only the winter season, but as we fill our calendar, we are gathering speakers and topics for our next season already. Um, we'll be posting that to our website as well. Also, like I said, check us out on our social media. We have Facebook, Instagram, Telegram. We have our Discord. And one of the people had asked in chat that if I could post the websites for the couple of programs you use, like Stellarium and Celestia. I actually did go ahead and post those to the Discord, so you guys can go check them out there. Also, check us out. All our programs are kept on our YouTube channel now that we have started live streaming them. So you can go check out all our past presentations on our YouTube. It's a great way if you missed us or you can't make it that week, don't worry. You can still see it. And like I said, do drop comments, like and follow our videos. Those likes and follows actually do help us greatly. Know that we are doing what you guys want. Drop us questions and comments either through our website or on the videos on programs you might like to see. We're always looking for ideas. I can't guarantee that we will have a talk on any one specific subject, but it's always good to have new ideas because some of our speakers like, hey, what should I talk about? There's so many topics because astronomy is such a broad field to be in. Like I said, we are a nonprofit, so I want to thank you, Lonny, for coming on, spending your time for so many years. And I want to thank all of our volunteers and everyone who has donated online. It has helped greatly throughout this time and kept us with our lights on and being able to offer these free public get my tongue unwrapped from around my eye teeth so I can see where I'm speaking. So we can actually continue offering the free public programs and outreach. We are hoping, crossing our fingers, that in the upcoming season, we might be able to open it up into having more outreach with our local communities. We are continuing to follow guidance of the health departments and CDC as far as all of that. So cross our fingers that we go back, we start getting into more of a normal time. But all of that information you will be able to find on our website. And with that, have a good night, everyone.
Thanks to all of the volunteers. Thank you, Kim and Jeff and Chris and everybody out there. Good night.